In this video, we're going to take a look at place value through the billions place. Now, today's goal is to be able to write the standard word and expanded forms of whole numbers and also identify the value of digits in whole numbers as well. First of all, it's important to look at what is standard, expanded, and word form. Standard form, as you can see, that's just the numbers written just like we normally would see them. Okay, it's just a standard way of writing them. Another form that we're going to take a look at today is the expanded form. And you can see the expanded form, what it does, it takes this original number as we have 88,700, and what it does, it breaks down each digit within the number and shows you the full value of each number. So you can see that the 8 represents 80,000, the other 8 represents 8,000, and so on. And finally, the word form, we can see it's written just like it sounds. We have 88,000, 700, okay, for that first one, and then we can see even for the next one, 4,500,000,000. Now, what I want you to do is pause this video, and I want you to write down an example of the standard form, expanded form, and word form, even the ones that I have right here using the number 88,700. So pause the video now and write this down in your notes. Now, here's a little tip on remembering place value. This is very key, okay? Not as important as just memorizing place value in general, but the little saying of Billy made them Oreos can help you remember that we have the B represents the billions place, M millions, T thousands, then the O is the ones place. So I want you to pause the video now and write this down in your notes as well. Now we're going to take a look at this number, and we're going to write this in expanded form, and that's what we're going to look at first. Then we're going to look at word form in just a little bit. Now, while we're writing an expanded form, we're also going to take a look at the value of the red digit of each number. Okay, so if I'm writing this number in expanded form, what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at each number and I'm going to write them separately. And it's actually going to be any digit with any type of value, which means any 0 you can just skip over. So I'm going to start with my 4, and what I will do is I will write the 4, and then every single digit after that I'm going to turn into a 0. Okay, so that shows me the place value of that 4. So I can see that the place value of that red digit is actually 400 million. Then I'm going to add this, okay, to the 7. And then after that 7, I'm going to turn every digit to a 0. And what this is doing, this is showing me the value of that 7 in the digit, which is actually 70 million. Now I can skip over the next 2 digits because they're zeros. They don't have any value. So I can go now to my 6. And I can write my 6 down, followed by zeros. Okay, so that shows me the value of that 6, which is actually 60,000. I can write my 3 down, followed by zeros. That shows me the value of that 3, which is 3,000. I can skip over the next digit, which is a 0. Then I can put my 2 and with the 0 following it, which shows me the value of that 2, which is 20. And then finally, I can write 1 just all by itself. Okay, so that is how you take a number in standard form and expanding it to expanded form, or turning it into expanded form. Now what I want you to do is get out your notes, and I want you to do this next number with me. We're going to take this number and turn it into expanded form. Okay, so we want to start out with our first digit, which is a 2. So we'll write 2 down. We're also going to try to figure out the value of that red digit. So we'll write out our 2 down, and then after that we're going to change all the digits to zeros. So we'll change the 8 to a 0 and the rest of the digits to 0 as well. And what this is doing, this is just showing us the value of each digit in the number. Okay, so we can see very easily, if you're ever trying to find the value of a certain digit, or the underlined digit, or in this case the red digit, just write that digit down, follow by the rest zeros, and you can easily figure out the value of that digit. So I have 2 billion, okay, is the value of that red digit. I'm going to add that to my 8, and then follow the rest by zeros. Okay, so I can see now that 8 is actually 800 million. And then I don't need to do anything with my zeros at all. I can ignore those. And then I can change my, write my 4 down, followed by zeros. Okay, and why am I putting 5 zeros there? Because there's 5 digits to the right of my 4. We'll add the 7 there, followed by 4 zeros. The reason why we have 4 zeros, we have 4 digits to the right of the 7, and it also shows me the value of that 7, which is 70,000. Write my 3, followed by 2 zeros, shows me that 3 is worth 300 plus 9. Okay, so we can see that changing this number into expanded form may take up a lot of space, but remember it's key to write the digit down, followed by zeros for the rest of the digits in the number. Now we're going to do number 3 together as well. So we're going to write the number in expanded form and also find the value of that underlined digit. So we can see, first of all, we're going to write our 6 down, followed by 5 zeros. And the reason why we write 5 zeros down is because that's how many digits are to the right of my 6. Okay, so this also shows me that that 6 has a value of 600. Now let's take a look at our 2. We're going to write our 2 down, followed by 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this shows me that the value of that underlined digit is 20,000. We're going to add 3,000. All right, plus 3,000. Okay, then after that we'll write our 1 followed by 2 zeros, which shows us the value of that 1 is not just 1 but actually 100. And I'll write the 5 down, followed by 1 0, showing us the value of that 5 is 50, and then that's it. So we take 600,000 to 20,000 plus 3,000 plus 100 plus 50 gives us 623,150. So what I want you to do now is pause this video, and I want you to write numbers 4 and 5 in expanded form and also find the value of that red digit. So I want you to pause the video now. When you press play, I will have the answers for you. So pause the video now. So here are your answers for number 4 and 5. Okay, you should have, for number 4, first of all, you should have 10 billion plus 8 billion plus 600,000 plus 30,000 plus 6,000, and the value of that red digit is actually 10 billion. For number 5, you should have the answer of 30,000 plus 3,000 plus 1. The value of that red digit is actually 30,000. Now we're going to take a look at writing numbers from standard form into word form. Now it's really important to remember that whenever you see a comma that you say the name of that place value. Okay, so we want to break this down step by step. So we have, first of all, 470. We need to figure out what place value that falls into. Okay, so we know we have the ones place, and which is right here, the thousands place, and then the millions place. Okay, so we have 470. We need to write it out. 470. Okay, 470, we know what falls in the millions place now, so we write 470 million. Okay, then after we write 470 million, we want to write a comma, just like it has in standard form. Okay, now we have 63 is our next group of numbers. So 63, we know that falls in the thousands place, so we're just going to write 63. We have a comma there, so 63,000. We'll write 60. Make sure we put a hyphen between the 60 and the 3. Okay, so 63, we know it falls in the thousands place, 1,000. Put a comma there, just like we have in standard form, and then we come finally to the next group of three numbers, which is 21, and we'll just write 21 with a hyphen between the 20 and the 1. And it's important to know that any numbers 21 all the way to 99, whenever you're writing them out, they always have a hyphen in between them, outside of numbers that fall, for example, like 30, 40, 50, and so on. But 21, 23, 99, so on, always have a hyphen in between them. Okay, so that's how you take a number from standard form to word form. It's important just to look at it in groups of three, figure out your place value, then you'll be okay. Now what I want you to do is get out your notes. We're going to do a couple together, then I'll have you do some all by yourself. So now we're going to do this next one together, and what I want you to do is just break it down with me. We have 623. First of all, we need to think of our place value. We have the ones place value here, and then we have the thousands place value here, so 623,000. So we'll write 623 Make sure you have a hyphen in between the 20 and the 3. So 623, we know that's easy to read. Now we got to give it a last name. The place value, 623,000. And then we need to write a comma next to that 1,000. And now we come to our next group of numbers, 150. We can write that down. Okay, 150, and that does not need a last name because first of all it's in the ones place, and then second of all we know that there's not a comma there, so it does not need a last name at all. So whenever you see a comma, it's important to know that that number needs a last name before you put that comma there. Okay, so we have 623,150. That's how you take this number from standard form to word form. Now what I want you to do is pause the video, and I want you to do numbers 4 and 5 all by yourself. I want you to take those two numbers that are written in standard form and write them in word form. So I want you to pause the video now. Okay, now here are the two answers for numbers 4 and 5. Number 4, 18,636,000. So it's important, once again, that whenever you see your place value and there's a comma there, that you give it a last name, 18,636,000. And finally, number 5, 33,001 is the answer for number 5. So that is how you take numbers that are in standard form and write them into word form. So please let me know if you have any questions about this concept. It is important to understand that little saying, and remember that little saying of Billy made them Oreos, which will help you remember the billions, millions, thousands, and ones place all in order. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions on this concept. Now what you'll do next is you're going to watch the video that's going to tell you how to take numbers that are in that are in word form or expanded form and turn them into standard form.